Welcome to Super Important Views. My name's Steve.
My name's Arnes.
And today I'll be going over the SG's Figuarts Ultraman 50th Anniversary Edition figure from Tamashii Nation and Bandai. Now, Arnes, do you know what's the significance of this figure?
It's red and white.
Well, there's that, because it's Ultraman. And technically it'd be silver, but I'll forgive you.
It's got 5-0 on it.
This is the first Figuarts Ultraman figure. Not Figuarts Ultra Act or Ultra Act, just Figuarts. Now, this is the 50th anniversary edition. There's also the standard version. Because of the standard one, you don't get the Baltan ship and the street and building accessories with it. So, for an extra, generally about $30, you get a bunch of extra accessories to go along with your Ultraman. So this, to me, feels like definitely the more worthwhile purchase if you're going to be picking up one of these. But what this review is going to be doing for you is, if you already own the Ultra Act versions, is this one worth purchasing?
How much is the original?
The Ultra Act one?
Yeah.
The reissue was about $30.
I don't know, man. It already sounds like a better deal.
It's true. Yeah, the reason why I picked up this figure is just because, again, with a lot of these Ultraman reviews, I really love Ultraman, love the original iteration of the show, and it's cool to be picking up a 50th anniversary edition figure to go in my collection, because I personally don't own that many Ultraman figures. Though, definitely with the packaging here, I really wish I would have had this for G-Fest to get Ben Furia to sign it. Oh, that would have been so cool. And anyways, without further ado, for the packaging, awesome. Literally, probably one of my favoriteest things in my collection right now.
This is definitely like the best packaging I've ever seen for Ultraman.
Or even just like how like Monster Arts or most of my Godzilla stuff in general. I love the appearance on it, where you get this nice drawn image of Ultraman doing the Specter Ray. The 50 in red in the background looks sweet. Ultra 50. You have the Ultraman 50th Anniversary Edition, Bandai Tamashii. A bunch of random little kanjis on there. Came out in 2016. Other side, got some Ultraman 50th again. Top section here, more Ultraman. Other side, still more Ultraman. Bottom, upside down Ultraman. And for the back, you get Ultraman some dynamic poses. Shows you all the accessories that it comes with. Some Lego Mumbo Jumbo. And what's also sweet is opening it up real quick.
Open. Faster.
Faster. Yeah. On the inside of the box, because you can see I've already opened him up and he's been out and played with, you get another nice hand-drawn image of Ultraman doing his like grappling pose with some more 50th anniversary edition.
Why does it look like he wants to sumo wrestle me?
Because that's essentially what Ultraman did. And that's why we love him for it. So let's get him open up out of his cardboard prison, even though I already may have done that. So now that we got Ultraman open up out of his cardboard prison, first we're going to go over his wide range of accessories, starting with the Baltan ship, because this is the thing that doesn't require Ultraman or other stuff to really accentuate the figure here. But for the spaceship, it looks really sweet overall, where you have that really nice, more star-shaped pattern on the top, with that pointed little blue cylinder sticking out of the top. Looks really good. Nice metallic silver paint job for the majority of the ship, where it kind of has this fruit shape to it. It's kind of like a pear.
What were they trying to do? Poke his eye out with that thing?
It just flies into Ultraman's face. That would be a tactic. Probably would have worked a little bit better. And then you have the little windows on the side of the ship where you generally see like the lighting appear and everything. Got a little piggle on the back here for the stand. Bottom, not too much going on. There's just this little cylinder protrusion on the bottom. One thing I want to point out though is on mine, it kind of had this weird little film residue on top of it when I got it out. And I still actually have to wipe it off because I haven't really played around with the ship too much. So that's the one thing. It was kind of weird. But then again, it also, with the film, kind of adds a little slickness to it. So while it's inside of the packaging, you don't have to worry about it scuffing the paint, because there's a little bit of added resistance to that. And how you get it onto a stand is on the back again. You got a little pickle. You just insert it into the back. You want to be kind of careful though, because on mine, it's a really tight fit. And I kind of worry about the stand snapping eventually. Then you just take your Tamashii stand. You can insert it into the little stand bases that we get, which you might notice is kind of weird for what we usually get with SG's Figuarts figures or even the Ultra X. Yeah, there's a crap ton of holes, and it's just plain old gray plastic, which you actually get 2 of these. But it's kind of cool because it gives you a lot of variety. And with some of the other accessories we'll go over in a second, it gives you a lot of options for placements. So you can pretty much just stick it in any one of these holes. Now you got the Baltan ship flying around. Overall looks freaking awesome. Love this little accessory. It's pretty much the reason I got the special edition version. And also the reason, because next it comes with these little buildings, because you cannot have nearly enough buildings for your displays with your kaijus.
Steve, this is where you're going to hate me. That's my favorite accessory for him is his buildings he comes with.
It is pretty cool. One thing I will mention, if you guys have the Toho effects sets, the buildings that would have come with those, they're made out of a little bit of a sturdier material, sort of like a resin, while this is just hollow plastic, which to me feels a little bit cheaper than what you got with that, but it's still very serviceable and actually holds a lot of very nice detail and hard edges, so it kind of gives a little bit more of a building appearance. I just kind of wish they would add a little bit more paint to these to bring a little bit more life to it.
Yeah, they could have painted at least the windows differently, you know.
Yeah, but then again, that's also something that you could do. And for a Japanese figure, when you buy these individually, because you do get 4 with this version, which you get a really tall building, you get a really stumpy brown building, you get a tan medium-sized building, and another tan building that's the same size as the previous one, but you get more windows essentially out of the figure.
It's a chubby building.
It's a chubby building. And so you get a lot of variety, and you know this is a special edition version because they're brown. Well, the standard releases, I forget the official color for them, but they are different, and there's also a battle damaged version you can pick up too. They run around $30. And something that makes these actually a little bit cooler than the previous buildings that we got, because you'll notice on the top, there's no peg holes. And you can solve that problem by lifting up on these part to reveal little peg holes. So you can stick the Tamashiak stand in there, so if you want to have the Baltan ship handing off the building, or if you're just using these buildings with other kaijus like Godzilla, if you want to put his beam effect in there, you can do it. Each of the buildings have a little section where it does come off on the top here, with the brown one being the large piece right here, and the short chubby brown one being the large piece here as well. And it's really easy to get on and off. You just pull them up, pull them down. Nothing too complicated. And they also come with these little gray pegs that you peg in onto the bottom here, because this is how you actually get them to hook into the stand. So you just pretty much pick a little spot, hook your building on, good to go. Now it's not going to shimmy around all over the place. They're not really needed though, because you can just sit it there. It does sit flush, but it's going to shimmy around the shelf, so it does give you a little bit of added security, especially if you actually like doing stop motion. This actually keeps the building in place without having to sticky tack or something, so that's really a cool option for that.
But Steve, I like playing with sticky tack.
We know. And with the inclusion of the set, you actually get a little street plate, which has 4 little pegs on the bottom, which what you could do is you could just overlay it on top of this if you just want to use the entire stand as a street and have Ultraman standing on top of it. Or if you want to have buildings on the side of your street, you can sit it on the halfway point, and then you grab your extra stand, insert it into the halfway point as well, and then it comes with these little plastic clasps, which what these are for is you just insert them into the sections in between the two, so it helps secure the stands together, so you don't have to worry about the stand sliding apart, so that once you get it fully assembled, you're not going to worry about it coming undone after you start messing around with it, which I think is cool. And again, something kind of useful for people that like to do stop motion. And you get 4 of them. So if you end up losing one of these, because primarily you're only ever going to really need 3.
You mean like you just lost one?
Unless you want to use these with extra ones you've been purchasing. Because then you can start using just 2 here, and then 2 for the next ones you want to clasp together. So it gives you a lot of variety. So now you have your street sideways, and then you just start attaching the buildings onto it, and that will come right back after I get this fully assembled. Alright, so now we got Ultraman standing with his buildings, and I got some of the effect sets kind of sitting in the screen. Overall, looks actually pretty decent. I'm only saying decent because it is kind of tiny, so it's cool that he comes with this. I actually really love it as like a little stand piece for himself. But you're going to need more of these little sets if you want to have the fight scenes on a much grander scale, because grabbing another kaiju to just show it off a little bit. If you just want to say have Godzilla and Ultraman kind of like getting ready to battle on the side of the buildings, it works. It works pretty well. But for the most part, I feel like one of these little stands is pretty much good enough for one figure. So, say you could take Godzilla. Maybe.
Godzilla, man, you have to destroy a building.
Hold on. We might have to work this out, but this is going to happen.
I don't know who's failing us. It's either Godzilla or Steve.
Someone. All right, I'm just going to shimmy this sideways so we have Godzilla with his tail sticking out. So say if you wanted to buy these little sets individually to pose with a separate kaiju, it'll work. But it doesn't really work too well with Godzilla or most of the larger kaijus if you want to have them actually standing on the streets. So again, I feel like it's really cool just primarily for Ultraman if you want to have them displayed next to it with the little Baltan ship. But if you're going to want to be having him tussling with some other kaijus, I'd recommend picking up some more of these just to make your display case look freaking epic with all the battles all the time. And then you also get a standard Tamashii Nation stand, so if you just want to hook the stand into it and have your Ultraman posing without the buildings, gives you that option. Also comes with a little clasp to hook on around your Ultraman's waist. So if you want to make sure your Ultraman's never going to fall over on your display, gives you a lot of options. Also, if you want to have him messing up everything.
You know what they say, Steve? It's not the car, it's the driver, man.
Damn it. So, if you want to have him clasped on it, it lets him stay on there very nice, very secure. If you want to have Ultraman flying around, gives you that option. And it's nice just to see that it actually comes with this little stand. I could have seen it being easily excluded because they gave us this little stands to go with the buildings. So if you want to have them standing behind the buildings and keeping them a little bit more upright, or you can even use this with the buildings, and pretty much do whatever you want, which is cool too because it gives you a lot of variety.
He doesn't need a stand though, he can stand by himself, right?
Well, yeah, but sometimes, like say, when we're in the spare bedroom, we move around a lot in here, stuff shakes.
I don't want to know.
Sometimes things can fall over. So this just gives them a little bit of added security. So next we have the Ultra Barrier, which Ultraman uses very sparingly in the TV show, but it is pretty cool to see it come with the accessory where it's pretty much a impenetrable wall that he puts up to protect himself from projectiles. And it comes with this little plastic stand, which all you do is you just slide this into there so that it'll stay upright. Once you get it in there, stands up pretty decently, wiggles around just a little bit, but nothing too crazy. Now you can have Ultraman protect himself behind the barrier if you wanted to. And just want to mention, it is really, really thin, just made out of clear plastic, so nothing too crazy going on there. I'll just give you guys a little bit better look at the details for the Ultra Barrier. Overall, nothing too crazy, just got some little lines going on the inside and a bunch of solar flares. Pretty sure this is a Krillin specialty move, but it does look pretty nice overall. It's a more faded white that they use for the little effect pieces. On the back, though, it definitely is a little bit more predominant, where you can kind of feel where this side is where they laid the image down, and then this side, nice and smooth. So overall, pretty cool little effect piece. Probably never going to actually have it posing with Ultraman, but still cool that it actually came with this nonetheless. And now we'll finally get into Ultraman himself with his accessories, which for starters, he comes with a pair of clenched fists for punching every kaiju all day, every day. Also comes with a pair of karate chop hands, perfect for breaking wood planks. A pair of... I don't know what to actually call these hands. I guess they're primarily for grasping, if you need them grabbing onto other kaijus, buildings, or whatever he's trying to protect. And a pair of slightly relaxed hands, which are primarily here for his trademark judo pose. And then how you swap out the hand accessories. We've gone over this quite a few times in a lot of these figures, but same thing as you'd see on most every other SH Figuarts figure, is you're just going to want to pull out the hand straight up from the forearm. So you just pull out straight up. And then when attaching a new hand, all you do is you're going to want to line it up atop of the ball joint and push straight into the forearm. Then you just pop it in. Good to go. Then for his final accessory, you get a pair of color indicators, which the first one you get is the blue that is already comes standard on the figure, which means he is in full health, ready to do all the butt whooping. And overall looks really good. Made out of a translucent plastic with a nice shiny metallic paint job on the inner sectioning. Gives it a really nice jeweled appearance. And then how you remove this, and this will be the first time you actually trying to pop this out, is you just grab it with your nail, pull straight out from the body. You notice there's a giant hole in the center of his chest. And then we're going to attach his red time indicator, which means that Ultraman does not have too much time left with us, and he needs to finish off the kaijus very quickly. One thing you will notice, though, is that it's not actually a perfect circle, unlike the band, which you'll see that there is a little flat area. You'll notice on the back of the indicator, you'll have to line it up to go on the inside of it, which seems like it's going to be a pain in the butt to try to get this in easily. Now we got his red time indicator in. Overall, looks really good. Pretty much the exact same as what we got the other indicator. It's just red instead of blue. But it is something I expected to come with this figure because without the time indicator changes, because it kind of takes away from the display factor a little bit of them. Because you gotta have them display with other kaijus in distress. Like it's always got to be pristine Ultraman all the time if it's blue.
I know what the red represents, Steve, but he looks so much better with the red than the blue.
Yeah, it does match with his coloring a little bit better. And actually, it's usually what I have displayed with him because he also has his Spectium Ray, which comes already attached to his hand, which this Spectium Ray is actually super terrified because I am so afraid of breaking this thing because you can see it flexes.
God, be careful, dude.
It's pretty thin plastic. Overall, you can see that there is some detailing in here for the beam effect, but for the most part, it just has this little white frosted effect going over the top of the plastic here. Overall, does a pretty good job at representing his specialty attack. And how you attach it on his hand is I recommend, because we're going to pop this one off, it goes on essentially the exact same way as you would do the opposite hands, but you want to make sure you have full clasp on the hand, not the ray. You don't want to have your hands having anything to do with the Spectium Ray here. You just want to have a firm grasp on the hands, push down, which is actually a little bit tighter than on my other hands. And now we have him doing his full-on Spectium Ray attack, which I don't have the right hands in, but still looks really good overall. If I can get this to line up a little bit better. About as good as we're doing right now. But the effect is really cool, and I do like the elongation compared to what we had previously. But I feel like the Ultraman Act 1 just had a little bit more color variety than what we had here. Let me go over this guy's closer details. One thing I want to point out is for his sculpt, he's actually a lot more suit accurate than what you got with the Ultra Act figure. Because you'll notice here that he doesn't really show any muscle definition, other than his chest sticks out a little bit more. But you don't see his abs, you don't see the bicep bulges. Same with the legs. Overall, it's pretty basic looking. And I appreciate it because it gives him a lot more suit accurate feel, which is something that you don't get out of the Ultra Act figures. So you want to have him posing with other figures that look a little bit more closer to what you've seen at the television show. Then he already seems like he'd be doing a pretty good job for you. But first, that sculpt looks really nice with that metallic silver. You got some clear plastic for his eyes with what appears to be a little bit of white paint on the undersection there to give it that little cream color that you've seen from the TV show. Even has the little slits, so if there was actually suit accurate on the inside, you'd be able to see out of the mask. And then you have the Ultraman mouth, which, did you know that he actually was supposed to talk?
How will you be able to talk?
Well, the A version of the suit actually had a mouth, and it could move. It just didn't work, so they just dropped it.
But that would be a cool concept, though.
It would be neat. I'm kind of glad that they didn't go with that because I always just liked the more helmet appearance that he had with his little ears on the side. Though, I notice on mine, it has a few imperfections in the paint. You notice here, there's a little bit of splotch on the top of the little crest here. On the neck, it's already got a little bit of chip paint, which I haven't done anything to this figure yet. So, it was just, there was a little bit of excess paint on there. With the wipe it away a little bit, and took some of the paint along with it.
Steve, you have the worst luck ever, dude.
Yeah, but the neck looks really nice. You get a little bit of muscle definition on the inside. You guys can see the back of the head is done in a very nice red, which I like too that they didn't just go with a metallic red for the paint job, which really makes it very reminiscent of the TV show, and they kept the metallic only for the silver. And it looks really good overall. I got some Ultraman Tushkish right there, with his little spine coming down the back. You notice that there is no way to insert a Tamashii Axe stand into the back of the Ultraman. You have to use the clasp if you want to have him posing with the stand. So it doesn't give you that option, but kind of works for me because he has a smaller figure, so I do like using the clasp for those. For the front, looks really good as well. Got more of that metallic silver, the red, his little indicator that we already went over. For his, what I'm going to call pants, look pretty decent overall. The articulation for these is a little weird though, but we'll go over that in a second. But the way it's molded anyways, you can see that he looks like he has a little bit of stockings.
A little bit.
It's mainly just how they did the articulation, but it looks like he has some underoos. There's a little bit of red there, and then he has some stockings.
I'm not going to say anything.
But for the rest of his legs, look really nice with the metallic silver here. He got his little strap here for the top section of, not really his boots, but it kind of gives that illusion anyways. And then you got his little elf shoes with a little bit of a curl on the front, but nothing too crazy. No real details noticing on the bottom of his feet. Then for his articulation, head can go up about that far. One thing I want to point out is there is a little peg right here that does insert into the neck. And what this is it kind of helps to keep the little seam line going throughout the body. But when you want to have him looking up, it hides while also still connecting the seam lines, which I think is pretty cool. And his head can look left and right. Has a little bit of a wiggle to it as well, so decent range of motion for the head. Shoulders can go forward and back. If I can get doing it right, can go up about that far, down about that far, rotate all the way around. One thing you'll notice about the rotation is right here at the shoulder. And then he also has an inner joint that shifts around as well, which is primarily for the shoulder going in and out. So you have to work the joint a lot depending on how you want to have it positioned. Then he has a decent bend at the elbow. Not as good as the Ultra X, but still pretty decent. Hand can rotate all the way around. And also has a little bit of a pivot to it. Also has a little bit of rotation here at the elbow as well. For his waist, can go backwards about that far, forwards about that far. Can lean side to side. Also has a rotation, which you have the joint here on the undersection of the chest and at the top section of the waist.
So, wait, quick question, Steve. When you're posing him, are you supposed to pose him like this all the time because there's that line down here? You know what I mean? Like,
oh, right here?
Yeah. So is he supposed to be posed like that all the time?
Yeah, with that little line right there, that's pretty much him standing fully straight up, which does actually help with the chest area, but I feel primarily you're going to have him leaning forward for the most part.
Because when he's like that, he looks weird.
Yeah, and then his leg can go forward about that far, backwards about that far, because his butt tends to get in the way, which, unlike the Ultra X, you can't shift the leg down.
It doesn't go down?
It doesn't go down, so it just pretty much, that's the range of motion you're going to get. And also can go in and out. Has a rotation at the top portion of the thigh. Has a bend at the knee. A little bit of wiggle at the knee, but nothing too crazy. And the feet can go all the way around. And go forward and back. And a bend at the toes. Alright, so first some quick comparison. Here we have him standing next to some Ultra Act figures. With the Ultra Act Red King and the Ultra Act X SH Figuarts Ultraman.
Steve, I think I like my comparison better. Corn Chucker and Isaac from Dead Space.
And here is compared next to the Ultra Act Ultraman Tiga and Gridman. Or you may also know as Servos from Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. And here's some of our Ultra Act figures with Ultraman Ginka and the Renewal Ultraman, which I actually have autographed by Ben Furia and Hiroko Sakurai. I'm sadly going to get him out of this box just to show you guys
Steve.
A little bit of a closer comparison.
Don't do it.
Doing it.
I'm telling you, Steve, don't do. Oh my god, he did it.
I even got pictures of them on the inside now. Because Ben gave me them, because I'm super fancy. And you also gave them to everybody, but still.
Steve's like, it's all for me. It's special.
It's all me.
Somebody comments going to be like, I got one of those, so we know you don't.
It doesn't matter. So here he is next to the standard Ultraman. And I gotta say, as for just an Ultraman figure, I kind of like this one better. Mainly because I just like the stylized look with the muscle definition. It just makes him look way more intimidating.
Steve, everybody on this channel knows you like a bulky guy, okay?
Yeah. And also the effect sets, which definitely on the Ultra Act are a little bit more impressive looking. Easily.
You got that argument.
But I do feel that the one that we're getting now at the Figuarts one is actually going to work a lot better than what we had previously with, say, the SH Monster Arts line. Like, I would much rather have him standing next to a Godzilla than the Ultra Act one, which actually towers over Godzilla. So I feel like if you really love the Monster Arts line, and even with the Toho effects set, or just building sets in general, This one, I feel, works way better.
He looks better too, Steve.
Then why am I even doing this compared to God?
No, not that one.
But, just saying, standard Ultraman figure, love this one. Just in general, like this one too. And here's next to some mecha action figures with the 1994 Godzilla and 1954. And here's the next to some NECA Pacific Rim figures with Crimson Typhoon and Hong Kong Brawl Gypsy Danger, who, I might add, tower over the SH Figuarts Ultraman.
God, I feel sorry for him.
So overall with the SH Figuarts 50th Anniversary Ultraman, I actually really love this set. For the price, I think it comes with a lot of accessories, love the buildings, love the Baltan ship, and I like the Ultraman. Personally, though, I think as Ultraman figures go, the Ultrax are better.
Steve, this is where we're going to argue for like 10 minutes.
Alright, hear me out. The Ultrax figures are what I always thought Ultraman looked like. Like, when I was younger, when I think of Ultraman, that's how I envisioned him. Is what we got with the Ultrax line. This is reality. This is Figuarts figure is what he actually is.
Well, yeah, that's why you should like him more.
But I like the image in my head better. I like my muscly Ultramans that look like they could break a kaiju in half.
I understand that, but still though, like, this is reality. This is what he is, and this is why we should like him more. It's not like what you wanted him to be as a kid, you know?
Yes, because I do feel that this, as a set and with other monsters, this Ultraman's way better. Like, this is the Ultraman you're going to want to get if you plan on posing it with other monsters, like Godzilla, other Ultra figures, or even Bandai vinyls. I feel like this Ultraman works really good with those. But if you're just looking for one really awesome Ultraman to add to your collection,
with an awesome box, you get this guy.
it is true, he does have an awesome box. I can't argue that one. But figure-wise, I would maybe look more towards the renewal version and save yourself a little bit of money if you just want one good Ultraman figure.
Wait. The reality's more expensive than imagination?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I know, right? So if you really love dioramas, love displaying your Ultramans with other kaijus, then I'd actually really recommend you then pick up the 50th Anniversary Ultraman. But what do you guys think? Have you guys picked up the SH Figuarts Ultraman? What's your favorite Ultraman episode? Or is Ultra Act just more your thing? Please let us know in the comments. We'll have closer pictures of them on our website if you want to click the link in the description below. We also have a Patreon if you guys want to help support us. Definitely follow the link also in the description below.
Yeah!
And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button. Subscribe, become a Ranger today. See you guys in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.